Alright, hi guys, this will be the video for chapter 16. I'm working from page 487 in your book. I'm gonna go ahead and bring this in a little bit closer and we'll go ahead and get started. Alright, number 1, patient has undergone aortic valve repair and has orders for heparin at 1,000 units per hour. The concentration in heparin is 25,000 units in 250 milliliters. How many milliliters per hour should they be pump reprogrammed for? So, real quick, this right here, basically what it's telling you is you have a bag. You have a bag of fluid, right? Right, this is all fluid. And so what it's telling you is that this bag, this amount of fluid, is 250 milliliters, okay? 200 milliliters of heparin, right? But heparin is dosed in units, right? So it's 25,000 units. 25,000 units in 250 milliliters, right? Meaning that for every 1 milliliter, there's 100 units, right? 1 milliliter in this bag is equal to 100 units, okay? So when we go to solve this problem, we're gonna start as we do XML per hour, okay? We're gonna take the volume of the entire bag, the 250 ml, right? We know that it's equal to 25,000 units, right? And we have an order that says 1,000 units. That has to go in over an hour, okay? So as I do, I like to go across 250 times 1,000, right? And then I'm gonna divide the whole thing by 25,000. Okay, so let's see what that turns out to be. Okay, let's do another one. Number 2, looks like we have insulin now, right? But the same concept applies, right? So again, if we look at this right here, right? You have your bag. It's full of liquid. That liquid is 250 milliliters, which is the same thing as 100 units in this case, right? Of insulin, okay? So we're gonna start XML per hour as we do, right? Take that 250 milliliter bag. We know we have 100 units in that bag. And then our order was 12 units over an hour. So 250 times 12 and divide by 100. $30. Okay. Number 3, insulin order for the patient in problem 2 is reduced to 8 units an hour. How many milliliters per hour should they be pump reprogrammed for? So we do the exact same thing that we just did for number 2. We're gonna set it up the exact same way, right? We're gonna have the exact same bag that we used for number 2, right? Because we still have a bag that's full of insulin. Why would we change it? Only thing that's changed, right, is our order. Now we have 8 units per hour. Right, so we're gonna do 250 times 8, but divide by 100. We get 20. Okay. All right, number 4, back to heparin. Again, we're looking for milliliters per hour. I'm just gonna set it up right now. Okay. Looks like in this case we have a bag that is 500 milliliters of volume. That is also 10,000 units. So I'm just gonna write that 500. Why am I not writing? 500. And below it, 10,000 units. Okay. My order says 1,000 units per hour. So we're gonna do 500 times 1,000 and divide by 10,000. I get 50. Okay. All right, number 5, XML per hour. Okay. A whole lot of words here, but basically I have 250,000 IUs in 45 milliliters. So I'm gonna write 45 milliliters in 250,000 IU. Okay. So then my order was 100,000 IU over an hour. Okay. 45 times 100,000, right? And then I'm gonna divide by 250,000. I get 18. Okay. All right, number 6. So this one is asking how many units per hour. So we're gonna do unit per hour. Okay. Here's our concentration. So I'm gonna start 25,000 units. And it's inside the 500 milliliter bag. Okay. And then my rate is 15 over an hour, right? So my milliliters will cancel now, leaving with units per hour. So I have to do 25,000 times 15, divide by 500, 750. Okay. Moving right along. Number 7. How many units per hour? So unit per hour. My insulin is a 100 unit bag that's also 100 milliliters. My order is 10 milliliters per hour. So we're gonna do 100 times 10 and then divide by 100, which is just gonna give us 10 again. Okay. All right, number 8. So you have this protocol on page 480. This protocol tells you that for a bolus of heparin for any patient, you have to give 70 units for every 1 kilogram of their weight. Okay. And then for an infusion, for a continuous infusion of heparin for a patient, you will do 17 units for every kilogram of their weight per hour, right? And your heparin is 25,000 units in 250 mLs, right? That's what your book says. So we have to use these numbers to figure out how much heparin to give our patient when their weight is 60 kilograms. Okay? So the bolus is easy, right? You take your 70, that's for every 1 kilogram. So if your patient is 60, you have to multiply it by 60, right? So 70 times 60 is going to give you 4,200. Okay? That's it, you're done for the bolus, right? You give the 4,200 units per hour and you know your patient's bolus, that's it. But you usually have to set up a continuous infusion after that. Okay, so I treat this as a two-step process. First, I'm gonna figure out how many units per hour I have to give my patient. Okay. To do that, I'm going to take my 17 units as per my order, and I'm going to multiply by their weight, right? Because it's 17 units for every 1 kilogram. So I have to multiply by the patient's total weight to figure out how many units of heparin for this patient based on their weight, how many units of heparin per hour this patient's going to get. And my answer is 1,020. Okay. So then for part 2, right, because I can't program my pump to be units per hour. I have to make it milliliters per hour. Okay. So in milliliters per hour, right, as we have been doing, I'm going to set it up XML per hour, right? I have my order right here. I have a bag that is 250 milliliters, and there's 25,000 units, okay? And I just figured out that I need to do 1,020 units every hour for this patient, okay? So I'm gonna do 250 times 1020 and then divide by 25,000. Okay. So I get 10.2 as my answer. Okay. Okay. All right, let's try this again, right? So we're gonna use the same protocol, right? So, but now my patient weight is different, right? But I still have to do 70 units per every kilogram. So now I'm gonna do 70 times 80, right? I get 5,600 units. Okay, what is their infusion gonna be? So part 1, 17 units. I'm gonna multiply by 80. So 1,360 units per hour. Okay. So then part 2, XML over an hour, right? Again, it's gonna be my same bag that has 250 milliliters, 25,000 units, and then 1,360 units per hour is what I just figured out for this patient. So 250 times 1,360 and divide by 25,000, and I get 13.6 mils per hour. Okay. And then this bit I'm not gonna do because I don't ask questions like this on the test or on the quiz, okay? All right. So that concludes my video for chapter 16. You guys have a good time studying. Thank you for listening.